Lakers Nation, what is going on, guys? So we just got a recent report coming out from Lakers Better, and it's involving like five, college prospects being linked to the Los Angeles Lakers. But I'm only going to be talking about two of them because I already broke down three of them on the channel. But it says LA is hosted a pre-draft workout ahead of, June 25th or June 26th for Lamont Butler. He's like a combo guard. His birthplace is Moreno Valley, which is not that far away from me, which is actually insane. But he's from Kentucky Wildcats. He did play there originally before transferring over to Kentucky. He did play for a school called San Diego State University, and then he got Izana Monza. He's from the G League affiliate. He's a Spanish basketball player and a forward. That is his position. He did play for the Perth Wildcats Hispana basketball team overseas, internationally. And then he got Clifford Amori. He's from Nigeria. He did play for the Rutgers, and then last he did play for Alabama Crimson time. But I'm not going to talk about those players because, like I said beginning of the video, there's three players on this list that I already mentioned that I did break down this channel. So if you guys want to go check it out, then go check it out. But I'm going to break down these two other prospects. One of them, his name is Isaac Nogues. I think I pronounced it right, but I'm so sorry if I butchered it wrong. And then he got CJ Huntley. I'm pretty sure I did pronounce it right. But before I get into the video, guys, I really appreciate it if you could like the video so my channel can grow to reach it to a bigger audience. Love you guys. And if you guys want to stay connected with me, follow my socials. My real name is Shara Fields. But I do have Instagram. I do have Twitter. Obviously, my TikTok did get banned, but we'll see if they do appeal it. And also all that good stuff, and turn on the notification bell if you guys want to stay updated for Lakers content. If you guys enjoy my videos, I do post 365 days, almost every single day, if not daily. But I'm on the grind. It's just been a very busy off season, and this is probably the most draft videos I have posted on my channel because this is how deep the draft is. But I do digress. Let's just focus on Isaac Nogues. So a little background about him: he is born February 10th, 2004. So he's 21 years of age. He is a native of Spain. He's listed at 6'4" to at least 6'5". He's a guard. This year he was first team all defense in the G League for the Rip City Remix, the Portland Trailblazers G League affiliate. He did set the G League record for steals in a game, 10 freaking steals. That is very incredible, amazing. He had like 10 points to go with it, and 7 assists against the Santa Cruz Warriors. I think he was like second youngest player ever in the G League to be named to an all defensive team. So that is very good. So let's just, start and break down his game. He has a case to be considered among, if not the best, defensive talent in this year draft class in 2025. The problem is that he's effectively a zero on the offense end, but the Spanish swingman has appeared in 33 games with the Remix, in the G League, averaging around 2.2 points per game, 4.6 rebounds and 3.5 assists, 1 steals in 18.9 minutes a game. He has attempted just 1 field goals per night, with a shooting line of .458, .294, then .474. And he acknowledges his game is a work in progress on the end of the floor. So pretty much he did quote this. He says, "My offensive skills are improved." He insists, "I am improving." So there's obviously some pros and there are some cons. Obviously, if these players didn't have any weaknesses, then they wouldn't be where they're, listed or ranked. You get what I'm trying to say? But most of these guys are projected to be at least late second round or if not undrafted. But you can make a case or argument for every single player in the draft class having pros and cons. Even, Cooper Flag, who's supposed to be selected number 1. And then players like, Dylan Harper is supposed to be going to the San Antonio Spurs. We'll see if they take him. But a lot of these guys have, pros and cons. These are development, guys. Some might be, NBA ready than others. But you get what I'm trying to say. So let's continue on. He was named one of the 45 players who did participate in the NBA's G League Elite Camp in Chicago ahead of, the pre-draft combine. He's not currently listed on ESPN latest Big Board, which does rank, top 100 prospects ahead of, June draft, the Big Board. But he also told, Fisher that I could defend a lot of positions. He's not only the point guard, but not only the best player. I could defend all 48 minutes of game action. I could just give 100% of my energy on the defense end. This just really helps any team. And that's what I love, that type of mindset, that dog, because even if you're not scoring and you're doing other things in the basketball court, you're always going to have a spot on my team. What if you're a pest? You're, pick it up, 94 feet on the defense end. You get what I'm trying to say? But he did earn a reputation as one of the top, if not premier defenders, consistently guarding multiple positions with high energy, a motor, getting steals, assists, rebounds. Another standout game he had was 16 rebounds, which is actually freaking incredible. 14 assists, 5 steals. Those are just full, court stats, not just defense hustle. So he's the type of player that just, makes sense, off the bench or, start alongside Luka Doncic, LeBron James, or even Austin Reeves. But Reeves is going to a contract year. This offseason, the Lakers, I'm not sure if they're going to trade him or if they're going to trade him in the trade deadline. We'll see if a team does, actually, pick up the phone. I'm pretty sure they will because of his value and the production that he's giving for his contract, which is, pretty small. But he's not going into a contract this offseason, but the following, offseason 2026, he's going to be earning around 30+ million or 40+ million. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be, testing, the market. But I'm hoping that the Lakers don't pay him that much. But he's going to be eligible for a contract extension. We'll see if the Lakers do pay him that $30 or $40 million plus, because you just don't want to lose him for nothing. He's going to be a free agent. But I digress. So this guy is pretty much known as a versatile, strong facilitator and disruptive and active on board. So he can get, rebounds. He can only defend, not score, not exactly his biggest strength. So here's the weakness. Isaac Nogues can contribute offensively, just not as a primary, scorer. You get what I'm trying to say? So he does, lock up guards and wings. He does force turnovers, plays, and just, reads the pass leads. And offensively, he's not a scorer in the traditional, sense or route. Doesn't really create his own shot or just, take many. But he does contribute by making the right, passes, averaging, near 3 to 4 assists in limited minutes, moving the ball quickly, and finishing, fast breaks or just, cutting to the rim and baskets. So he does move well without the ball. And Isaac Nogues, a little bit more information about him. He isn't, one-dimensional, but scoring is his least development part of his game. He's a valuable two-way player because he does defend hard and helps, pretty much the offense flow in this game. Just don't expect him to drop at least, 20 points per game. Even if you're giving us, 10 points or 8 points and you're defending multiple positions, then I'm cool with that. I love that effort. I love that you're putting some, points. I know not everybody has to be an all-star, superstar. At least be a competent or at least high rotation player. Can he do that? Sure, if he does development right. And I do trust the scouting department and, the people to, select the right, players. But the Lakers are very good at drafting, especially late in the second round or early in the second round. But we've seen in the past with Max Christie, Thomas Bryant, Avita Zubac, Larry Nance Jr., I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was late first round. Obviously, you got Julius Randle as a lottery. You got Brandon Ingram. Lonzo Ball didn't really pan out, but because of, injuries. But he's a point of attack guard. He's even being linked to Los Angeles Lakers, but I do digress. Now, the next prospect that I do want to talk about, which is lastly in this video, his name is CJ Huntley. He's listed at 6'11", does weigh about 221 pounds. Now, the problem with him, he does need to, bulk up. He's kind of skinny, so he doesn't really have the weight. Obviously, he's not legit, 7-footer, but at least he needs to bulk up because you're going to be going up against Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, players like Brook Lopez, Giannis, Joel Embiid, Jokic, even those type of players in the NBA, because those guys are just very imposing. But he is, from Appalachian State. It's like a small school, but he's born on January 6, 2002, and he's just 23 years of age, so he's young, but he's not super young. He's, 19 or 20, like some of these other prospects in college that should be developing. But hopefully he does contribute right away. And the Lakers, front office and our scouting department does see something in him. That's why they're deciding to work out some of these prospects. But let's get into his game and break it down. So he has pretty much a smooth shooting touch for his size, showing promise as a stretch big who could just space out the floor. He is effective scoring on the move and has a decent low-post game, along with being a solid passer for his position. Athletically, he is above average, but not super explosive. He could struggle defensively against, quicker opponents, especially going up against guards and stuff like that, especially if he gets, cooked in the pick roll and stuff like that, or outside the perimeter, and he's, guarding his, man right. But he is a ball handling and rebounding are just still areas that he doesn't need to improve on. and he's limited experience against top tier competition. So, like I said, it's not all that great. But at the end of the day, these guys are just college prospects. But despite those concerns, his offensive versatility does just makes him an intriguing second round or undrafted option in the 2025 NBA draft. But that's a breakdown. Let me know in the comment section if you guys like some of these prospects that I did mention. But the links will be down in the description. Keep liking, keep sharing. And I know there's some, other, viewers or subscribers that rock on my content. My last draft video that got over 2,000, views were commenting that I should make a video on some 3-and-D guards versus the wings or some, centers. But I got you guys. I'm going to have to do some research. I did watch some clips. I did watch some films, so I studied. I just didn't, do my research, decided to record the video, actually watch film because it really helped to get to know who these players are and what they can be in the NBA, or if they're going to be rotation piece, are they going to be in that league the next 1 or 2 years, or if they're going to make an NBA and get cut. So there's always these, outcomes. We'll see what the Lakers do with their 55th overall pick. The San Antonio Spurs, they have the 14th overall pick, so maybe they kick the can down the road and do something similar, because last year they traded the 8th overall pick for Rob Dillingham to the Minnesota Timberwolves because they already have some, prospects that they have in mind, like Dylan Harper, and I think they're going to keep the lottery picks. But man, maybe the Lakers do trade with the 14th pick, maybe trade for a top 10 pick. I'm pretty sure Houston Rockets have that, so we'll see what happens. I would love to get a lottery pick, even if it's not. I just don't see it. Like, it's really expensive to buy first round picks or lottery picks, especially because it might go at least 10 million. But if you buy a second round pick, they at least go for at least 2 or 3 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, man, that's all I got for today's video. Keep, commenting and let me know what videos you guys have in mind, especially because, the NBA draft is around the corner. You got, free agency, you got trades, updates, all that great stuff. So this is one of my favorite times, of the off season, especially as a diehard basketball fan. Sometimes we go through pain as Laker fans, but it does suck because we're another first round, elimination, losing to, the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games. And we desperately need a center. Obviously, there's a report coming out that you can't rule out Jackson Hayes, coming back to the Los Angeles Lakers. Please, Lord, I do not want him back. That's just my personal opinion. After a report did come out from NBA Central that he wasn't thrilled with his role, towards the end of the season. And, J.D. Redick just didn't have faith in him, especially in the playoffs. He was pretty much unplayable the first 4 games, and that's why he got benched. And Rudy Gobert had a master class time of his life. He had 27 points and 24 rebounds, which was actually ridiculous, while their superstar player, the face of the league, and Anthony Edwards, only had 15 points and, pretty much did struggle. But the Lakers struggle with, interior presence. They need dominant, force. They don't need a superstar, center, or the center that could just dump the ball down 2 in a block and just go to work. We need 3 things: either rebound, deteriorate, and just catch lobs and just rim protect. That's what you need to do. We just need 3 things. That's all. We're not asking for a superstar or all-star caliber player. It'd be nice to have that just to take the pressure off of LeBron James and Luka Doncic. But like I said, I think the Lakers just need somebody that could be at least competent and just be an upgrade over, Jackson Hayes. Because keep in mind, you got Axel Len. I'm pretty sure he was a buyout candidate, but he didn't even touch the court in the playoffs. I mean, J.D. Redick didn't trust him. He was pretty much the water boy, just, passing the waters, sitting on the court and on the bench and stuff like that. You have Trey Jemison, Christian Coloco, but they just weren't, playoff eligible. So, what other options does the Lakers have? They're going small with Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. So, the Lakers are just, undersized. They need a big man desperately. We need a 3-and-D guard and a versatile wing and some bench depth to, fill up it and just bolster it. But, yeah, man, I'm out of here. Peace. Cheers.